John Eats Cheap doing a little meatloaf experiment here. Now, I have a whole bunch of different meatloaf recipes, and this one isn't about the recipe, it's about how you make the meatloaf, and something I've always heard when people make meatloaf. So I'm just going to do one of my basic, it's ground beef, package of onion soup mix, breadcrumbs, an egg, some cheese, some Worcestershire sauce. That's going to be the recipe. Pretty simple. Now, the thing I want to find out is how true it is when people say, don't over mix the meatloaf, or if you're making meatballs, don't over mix it. It'll make it, I don't know what it'll make it. I want to find out if it makes it anything, but they say it'll be too tough or too chewy, something like that. So I'm going to make a batch, and we're going to have two pans. One will have the gently mixed, not overdone, and the other one, I'm going to do it the way I always do it, because I always make my meatloaf with the Kitchenaid and the paddle and mix it up for several minutes. So I start off, I got 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and to that I'm going to add a package of onion soup mix. Great flavor, and onion chunks. We'll go in with an egg and some breadcrumbs. Little Worcestershire sauce. As I said, no measurements, just flavor. And Mrs. Cheap and I really like shredded cheese in our meatloaf, so we'll get some of that in there too. All right, so I'm going to hand mix the whole thing. Get in there. This is always tough because that ground beef is always so cold. I think we probably have, for meatloaf recipes, I think we probably, on our page, have, what do they call them? Not channels.
A playlist.
A playlist of meatloaf recipes. Yeah. Italian meatloaf. Geez, we've done bratwurst meatloaf. Our favorite, I think, is the Italian. That is a tasty one and very cheesy. All right. I want to make sure it's good and mixed, but I don't want to overmix it. I can smell that onion. We also like sometimes just put a block of cheese in the middle of it, so it's like a giant Juicy Lucy meatloaf. All right, need to get that mixed up a little bit. I'm thinking we might be mixed. So we're going to start out, we'll put half of it into one of the mini loaf pans, just like that. And the other half, we're going to go in here and mix it some more. All right, so just to mark it, we're going to put a little smiley face of onion on there. Little nose.
And this is the hand mixed one.
This is the hand mixed. That's not much of a smiley face, but you get it. It's going to have onion on it, so that's the hand mixed. That little bit of onion should not affect the taste or the texture, the toughness. So now let's get this thing going and start mixing for several minutes. Still mixing. If it's going to be tough, I want to know it's tough. All right, we went probably 3 minutes there. Got it good and mixed up. And now into this loaf pan. And I got the oven heated up. We're going to cook them at 400 degrees until they're done. It'll take less time because we have the mini loaf pans. So, hand mixed. I should have put like 5 fingers in there or something. Onion is hand mixed. If we need to, we'll go back to the tape and make sure that's right. So here we go. Here's our hand mixed. Try and pull that out. Well, that's not tough, obviously, if it's falling apart. So that's the hand mixed. Now, the way I usually make it, with the Kitchenaid. All right, hand mixed. Just gonna see how tender it is, if it's chewy. Good meatloaf. This does look much more packed in. I actually prefer this one. Seriously, it's more, I mean, look at the difference. It's, you know, that one fell apart. This one stayed all together, compacted in. I like that in my meatloaf. I don't want it to be crumbly.
What about texture? How does it taste?
Well, texture, taste-wise, they taste the same. Texture, yeah, this one's a little chewier because it's compacted in. But like I said, I kind of like it not falling apart. So I'm going to keep doing it this way. Yeah, I guess technically it does make it a little bit chewier, I guess. But I'm fine with that. It's not much of a difference. So what do you think? Have you done this experiment, or have you always just trusted what everybody said? And maybe leave something in the comments if you got another one that you've always heard, like, you know, you don't want to, I don't know what it would be, but some other cooking theory, you know, does pasta water really thicken the pasta sauce and that type of stuff? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching John Eats Cheap.